Hello again, my name is Mike Vorel, and this is the Pokes Authority Vidcast brought to you by Wyoming Central Federal Credit Union. You know, football season is over, but a new season is just beginning, and that's basketball season, a very promising one for Wyoming hoops right now. The Cowboys are 6-0. They're going into a big week with a home game against Denver on Tuesday, then their first road game of the season at SMU on Friday night, followed by another home game against Regis on Sunday. It's a big stretch, and we got some big news on Monday. Sophomore point guard Trey Washington is going to redshirt this season. Now, Washington had missed the first 6 games of the season with an ankle injury. It wasn't perceived as being really serious. It looked like he was making some improvement with that injury. But if you look at the rotation right now, there might not have been a ton of room for him at those guard positions. At point guard right now, you've got Riley Graybo, a senior, Jeremy Lieberman, a freshman that they're high on. And at the other guard position, Josh Adams has been playing well, and they really like freshman Alexander Akagorski. He's going to play some. So there might not have been a spot for Trey Washington right now, and thus he's going to be redshirting this season. So that answers that question. If you look at the backcourt without Washington, it's going to be interesting to see how they rotate this season. Like I said, Graybo and Adams are going to be the two starters. And you're also going to have some heavy doses of perhaps Lieberman, Akagorski, Jace McManaman, a 6'5" player who can play either the 2 or the 3, are all going to be kind of rotating in those backcourt positions at times this season. It'll be interesting to see how they play with that group starting on Tuesday against Denver and Friday against SMU. Speaking of guards, we spoke to Josh Adams about the team's recent success and the game against Denver on Tuesday. Here is that interview. All right, I'm with junior guard Josh Adams. Josh, obviously coming off a big win against New Mexico State. You guys, sped up in that game. Obviously, New Mexico State was pressing you, and you were pretty effective, doing that. Did you know that you're such a grinded-out team? Did you know that you could operate and be efficient playing that kind of pace?
I think we knew we were capable of it. I think we got up and down a little bit more than we wanted to. Kind of played into their style of play instead of controlling the tempo. But when it came down to the wire and we needed to do what we needed to do, we ended up doing that and controlling the tempo the last 2 minutes of the game and came out on top.
It seems like you guys have prepared for some unique styles where New Mexico State obviously wants to run and press, and now Denver does what they do with Princeton offense and everything. What's the challenge like when you're preparing for some kind of unique teams that you're going against?
The games are coming pretty quick back-to-back, so the biggest challenge is staying mentally focused, whether you're tired or whether you're not playing as many minutes as you think you should, or you're just not in a situation where you're playing a lot of minutes. To stay mentally focused and preparing for the next game, regardless of if the last game was a big win or a big loss.
How do you feel like that's gone for you guys, where it's been kind of a rapid stretch of really good opponents too, and you're going to keep going with Denver and then SMU? How do you feel like you guys have faced that kind of fatigue and just the frenzy of all these different opponents?
I think we're doing real well with that. This game will obviously be a big test because our starters played upwards of 30-35 minutes at the New Mexico State game, whereas in the past couple games we were playing 20 because we were able to get up on a big lead. So this will be a good test for us, but everyone's feeling pretty good. We'll be down there prepping today and head out there tomorrow.
With having a series of legitimate opponents in a row, a really tough test, does it kind of feel like conference play where you guys are being tested as much as you have been in a row here?
A little bit. It's similar, and I think that's kind of the plan, is to kind of get us into that groove early. This team is taking it in full stride, and we're doing really well right now, so we just need to keep it going and, like I said, keep that mental focus sharp, and that will come out on top.
With Denver, what is the biggest challenge with them? Obviously, last year you had a tough game, at their place. What's just the biggest thing that you try to focus on when you're looking towards a game like that?
35 seconds of defense every possession. With DU it's tough because you can play 29 seconds of amazing defense and then 1 mental lapse and you give up a back cut, and they get their 2 points, you give up an open 3. So the biggest challenge is keeping that mental focus for the entire 35 seconds and knowing where your man is, knowing where the ball's at, and just keeping that edge.
All right, thanks, Josh. Despite the fact that Wyoming started this season 6-0, their games this week are no gimmies. On Tuesday, you've got a Denver team coming into Laramie that beat Wyoming last year and has a very unique offense, running the Princeton offense, which has a lot of moving without the ball and backdoor cuts. It's going to be a challenge for Wyoming's defense to be able to cover that. And on Friday, you've got an SMU team that also beat Wyoming last season in Laramie. Very talented team. There's a lot of NCAA buzz around SMU coming into the season. They've only started the season 4-3, But that record is kind of deceptive. Those 3 losses come against 2 ranked teams, Arkansas and Gonzaga, as well as on the road at Indiana. Not many teams can beat Indiana on the road. So that's going to be another huge test for Wyoming to see what kind of team Larry Scheid has as they get ready for the conference season. That's all for this time. My name is Mike Vorel. Take care.